Hey, I want to thank everybody for tuning into a special edition of Steelers Pre-Snap. Luther Dupree here, joined Claudio Rosano, Smokin Jim Frazier. Hope everybody's having a great day. Hope you had a great Thanksgiving. But let's get it started. Let's review the game, Bengals game. I had it wrong. I'll admit it. I thought the Steelers could pull it off, and the first half looked good. Second half, 3 points, and they couldn't stop Joe Burrow or T. Higgins. And then Tyler Boyd made some plays for you, Jim. Hey, but going back to it, Jim, you did call it. Your thoughts about the game, Jim?
Well, I tell you what, I'm very, very, extremely proud of the Pittsburgh Steelers. I thought they played a very good game. Cincinnati Bengals is a juggernaut. People remember what you do in December, and Cincinnati's coming on. They're starting to peak at the right time. And I thought the Pittsburgh Steelers, like you said, Luther, I thought the Pittsburgh Steelers played them toe for toe in the first half and just couldn't pull it off in the second half. But I was very proud of the Pittsburgh Steelers' efforts.
Proud they took a loss, Jim? I mean, the first half, you're right. They were good, man. But we'll see. Hello, guys. Luther, do not feel bad. I thought the same thing. All right, Ralph, yeah, me and you both took L. So, hey, Jim, we know what it feels like to take an L. All right, Claudio, your thoughts on the game?
Number one, I agree with Jim. The Cincinnati's peaking at the right time. They got off to a slow start because I don't think they played their starters much during the preseason like they used to whenever we were growing up. They played, 6, 7 preseason games, and those guys played. They used to hit the ground running. I don't necessarily agree with playing that many exhibition games, but you should sprinkle your starters in more so you can get off to a hot start. I said last week that Cincinnati was going to go short with Mixon and Perrine and the tight ends. This way they can open up for their wide receivers like Higgins and Boyd a little bit later on, and that's what happened because I think the Steelers defense was so focused on the running game and the short passes, mid-range passes, and they could open it up. Higgins went for 148 yards, and as you said, Boyd had some key catches. The Steelers, I don't know, I think the 30 points was a little misleading. 30 points is a lot, but I think the game, the number was closer than the game really was. I don't think Cincinnati was ever in doubt in losing that game. I'm not going to say I was proud of the Steelers because I don't think they did all that great. They did okay. Back to Cincinnati, I do disagree with Jim. They are peaking at the right time. To say they're a juggernaut, I just think that, I said this before, it's the National Football League. I'm starting to think it's the mediocre Football League. There's a lot of mediocrity.
Yeah, I hear you on that, Claudio. We got another comment. Frank Jackson, hey, thanks for coming in. Canada just quit in the second half. Get him the hell out of here ASAP. Hey, I can agree with that. 3 point, they didn't score when it mattered most. The defense on the field, way too much. T. Higgins, we said he'd have a big game, but wow. They kept going to him for a while. He was the only guy it seemed like he was going to. And the running backs, the linebackers had a horrible game. They couldn't stop, the running backs out of the backfield. I thought when Joe Mixon got hurt, that would help him. It hurt him. So we'll see. Hopefully against the Colts, they play another great running back, and maybe Taylor, maybe one of the top 3 or 4 running backs in the football league. Hey, but Claudio, what do you have for our huddle up?
In baseball, they have a term for pitchers called pitching backwards. In other words, if the opposing team is a fastball hitting team, they look for fastballs and they're successful with fastballs. Instead of starting them out with fastballs, throw curveballs, throw changeups, throw breaking pitches, whatever. So that's called pitching backwards. If I were the Steelers offense this week, I would definitely pitch backwards. By that, I mean, don't try to establish the running game or anything like that. Not even these dink and dunks, because that's what the Colts are planning for. They're planning for the short end of the field. Go deep, as Terry Bradshaw used to say. Go deep. What do you have to lose? Do some crazy things. Do a flea flicker. Open it up a little bit. Pitch backwards. Don't go to what you think the Colts are going to game plan for because they should game plan for that because that's all they've seen. Dink and dunks, run the ball. Dink and dunks, run the ball. I'm big on establishing the run or establishing the pass, but establishing something. But in this case, Colts are going to think again, 10 yards in. Okay, I think that's what they're going to focus on. Dink and dunks, run the ball. Instead, if I were the Steelers, pitch backwards, go deep, open it up.
Okay. All right, Smokin Jim, what do you have for us? 1st and 10?
Thanks, Lou. I tell you what, man. After coming off of Thanksgiving, you want to eat, man. You want to continue to eat. I got eaten alive yesterday because I had Ohio State and Michigan put it on them. But watching that game, man, Jim Harbaugh's a great coach, and they stuck with the running game. They're going to stick with the running game, and that's how you win football games. The last 2 weeks, Najee Harris has been healthy. He's coming on, and it's time to feed him, man. The running backs like to get fed. I'd start running him till the wheels fall off, man. 2 back-to-back 90-yard performances. I would feed the big guy. That's how I would play it the second half of the season is get behind Najee Harris and continue to feed him.
All right, we didn't even need a disclaimer today. All right, Joe, I'm proud of you, man. I'm proud of you. My thoughts, I like what you said about the running game. I think Jaylen Warren getting hurt last week was a huge loss. Wasn't able to play in the second half. Najee's getting better. I would like you said, to focus on the running game. I'd like to see the fullback in the game more really focus on running that ball. I look at Tennessee, all these guys focusing on the run. I think that's what we have to do. And also, Deontay Johnson needs to get a couple more looks. He's starting to sulk a little bit. And I saw a report he's one of the most open receivers in the league, and he's not getting targeted like he's used to. I know he struggled with drops in the past. Got to get him back out there. Hopefully we do that a little more. I don't think they'll do it. Canada's stuck with his garbage offense, and he's not going to change it. We saw his flea flicker, and it was a disaster. Don't want to see that anymore, but I need to see more creativity. We know he's going after this year, but, at least try to save your job. Try to do something because right now his lack of play calling is not only hurting the offense, Kenny Pickett's development is really being hampered by this. Unlike you guys, I think he can be a solid franchise quarterback, but he's being hampered by a horrible offensive coordinator, a trash, a struggling offensive line, and his receivers aren't helping him to the best of, as I know they can. Hey, let's jump back out here. We got Eric. Morning, gentlemen. Dr. Smokin Jim was right on high scoring game for the All right, yeah. All right, we got Lorenzo Jackson. God bless Sunday morning. All right. McFarland up from practice squad, and Snell stinks. Why I call him Smell. All right. Terry French, you can't throw to guys who can't catch. Johnson, Canada has to go. All right. Listen, man. So another stat. Yes, he does have some drops, but his catch percentage is much higher than people give him credit for. So I still think we have to we're paying him $9 million for a reason. You got to use him. He's the best route runner on here. We got to get him the ball a little bit more. All right. Let's jump back into the offense. Continue to move on. Steelers D versus the Colts offense. Claudio, what are your thoughts?
I think the Colts, since Saturday has taken over, are going back to what they should have done, and that's keeping it simple. Let Matt Ryan manage the game. Don't put all the bricks on his shoulders. And Taylor, give him the ball. Give him the ball. He's one of the best backs in the league. I think a few games ago, when Saturday first got to Indy, he started turning it up a little bit. So I think he has to be the main focus for the Colts and let Ryan manage the game. I don't like to say manage the game with Matt Ryan because he's not a manager, but just don't put all the bricks on his shoulders. Now the Steelers defense, they're like 28th against the rush, or 22nd against the rush, 28th against the pass. 24th against the pass. Forgive me. 24th against the pass, 22nd, I believe, against the rush. So I think it's a good time for the Colts to mix it up. Okay, mix it up, have a balanced offense, but start it off with keeping it simple and running Taylor a lot.
All right. Smokin Jim, what are your thoughts? Who do you give the advantage to? Steelers D, Colts offense?
Did Claudio say who he gave the advantage to?
I'm definitely gonna give it to the Colts offense.
Colts offense. Okay. I gotta disagree with Luther here. First of all, I don't believe that it's written in stone that Canada won't be back. If the Steelers continue to score 30 points a game, I think Canada will be retained. I don't think there's any. I don't think there's anything to be gained by bringing in a new offensive coordinator. Kenny Pickett is already struggling. He had one of the lowest Wonderlic tests in the history of the NFL. So he's not the smartest guy on the planet, even though he's white. Even though he's white.
You
I know, and you know, the second half of the season is going to be crucial for a lot of people, not just Canada, but a lot of people are on the bubble on this team. So let's just play it out and see. I think Deontay Johnson has not been open. I don't know what what film they're watching. If he was open, they would throw to him more. They used to try to force the ball to him, but he's not getting open, and teams is taking him away. But listen, I think against anybody, any team in the league, the Steeler defense should be favored because they're the highest paid defense in the National Football League. So I give the advantage to the Steeler defense over the Colt offense based on pedigree.
All right, let's see here. We got Frank Jackson, Colts running the ball down Steelers' throat. Sorry, Lou. You know about my throat struggles. Go ahead. All right. Daddy Kingsler. Matt Ryan is a shot quarterback. If the Steelers DBs could catch, it would be a 4-touchdown blowout. Okay. Eric Witt, Minka healthy and Watt will shut it down today. Can't let Matt Ryan get comfortable. Hey, I definitely agree. Listen, Steelers D, I think they can really get to the Colts offense. Indianapolis is 31st in scoring, 15 points a game. They've only scored 20.4 times this year. 3 losses, and the opponent didn't even score 20 points. So their offense really struggles. It's one of the few offenses ranked lower than the Steelers. Steelers ranked 29th, Indianapolis ranked 31st. We have to pressure Matt Ryan. He's done. He's shot. We stop Jonathan. We stop Taylor. We can win this game. Yeah, Jim, they are the highest paid defense in the NFL, but basically that's because we got the highest paid outside linebacker in TJ Watt, the highest paid safety in Minka Fitzpatrick, and we also have Hayward who gets a big check. So between those 3 players, that's where most of the money is going. But I give the advantage to the Steelers D. I don't see a lot out of the Colts offense. The receivers, C level. The running back is A+. He's one of the best. Quarterback, he's a shot quarterback. Steelers have to shut these guys down. Can't let them have over 15 because our offenses are going to do much. Indianapolis has a pretty good defense. All right. Former Steeler, Mike Mitchell, a coach for the Colts. All right. Ralph with his Nuggets. All right, here we go. Let's go to the Steelers offense versus the Colts defense. Your thoughts, Smokin Jim?
Yes, the Steelers offense versus the Colts defense. Now that the Colts don't have Darius Leonard in there, he was their TJ Watt, aka Hall of Famer, in the middle, which I told the Pittsburgh Steelers about, but they still passed him up and been regretting it ever since. I like what I'm seeing in the Steeler offense. I think this is a good coming out party for the offensive coordinator Canada. I think it's a coming out party for Najee Harris. I think it's a coming out party for Freiermuth. The Colts defense is pretty good, but I got to give the advantage to the up and coming Pittsburgh Steelers offense.
Okay. Wow. All right. Claudio, what are your thoughts?
Well, I think that love Jim. I disagree with him though. The Colts are 12th against the rush and 6th against the pass, so that doesn't bode very well for the running game and or the passing game. That's why I said you have to mix it up. You have to do something different. You can't do status quo. You have to start off and don't again get rid of the dink and dunk. But something Jim did say that I agree with. Johnson was open, they'd throw it to him. And everybody wants to blame Canada. And I'm not saying he's great by no means, but maybe he sees the game film. He sees practice every day. Maybe he just doesn't have confidence in that offense to do the things that the fans want him to do. Maybe he just doesn't feel that they have enough time to go deep, or they have the quarterback to go deep, or they have anything to do anything other than that, 5-yard pattern all the time. So again, the Colts defense isn't that bad. It's pretty good. And they're going to look better against a Steelers offense, which is not that good. Again, everybody wants to make excuses for Pickett. I've said from day one, I'm not. I hope he. I don't have a horse in the races. I don't care one way or the other. But I just never saw this franchise quarterback. I saw a solid backup who can interject energy to a team occasionally, or as everybody likes to say, splash plays. I don't think he's going to be consistently good. I don't think he has the arm to be consistently good. I think the Colts will pressure him to making some mistakes. Again, 12th against the run. That's going to have that's going to pose a nightmare for the running game. 6th against the pass. He didn't have any turnovers last week, with them expecting some turnovers this week for Pickett.
All right, let's go. Eric Witt, get the run game going, get the lead first, and not fall behind and force the big play. All right. It's a coming out party for Pickett as well. All right, Ralph. Daddy's Kingslayer. I love Kenny Pickett versus Colts. I think the receivers are hurting Kenny. Who is the receivers coach? Blame him instead of Canada. Oh, okay.
It's a franchise quarterback, then we shouldn't have to worry about being behind in the score. I mean, I agree with Eric. But if he's a big-time quarterback with Roethlisberger or a lot of these guys, you don't have to worry about that because eventually they're going to come back. So with Pickett, we got to say, well, we got to make sure that the opposing team doesn't get into a big lead, which is saying, without actually saying it, we don't have confidence in him to put all the bricks on his shoulders and score a bunch of points. We have to get the ball early, then hand the ball off to kill the clock. So I think people, without really saying it, have lost confidence in Pickett, and they're smart in doing so.
And Claudia, you've been against Pickett since he was in college. I completely disagree. I'm going to give him a chance. He's a rookie, and he's getting better. The last 2 games were clean. No interceptions, no turnovers. I like the improvement I'm seeing in him. Our offense, I do think I give the advantage to the Colts defense. We know about the rankings, Claudio. They're top 10 in yards allowed, they're 5th. And fumble recoveries, first down, they're 8th. Passing yards, they're 7th. So it's going to be a struggle, but I think our defense is going to be able to hold them down enough. We need them just to make a few plays. And unlike you, Claudio, I see progress. I see improvement. I see leadership. No, he doesn't have the strongest arm, but his arm is strong enough. I'm allowing him to have his rookie year and improve, but I'm not giving up yet. People talked about all these quarterbacks coming out in this draft. C.J. Stroud didn't look all that good yesterday. So we don't know. All right, Terry French. Pickett is a good-looking hometown boy. Unless he really screws up bad, he's the franchise. All right. Terry French, you're taking a page out of Jim's books by talking about his looks. But I think he's going to be a great quarterback. And that moves us to our next segment, Fantasy Sit or Start. I'm high on Kenny Pickett. I think he's going to be a franchise quarterback. Just got to get this year under his belt. But this game, I'm going to sit him. Colts have a strong defense. They got Stephon Gilmore back there. They're going to be putting pressure on. They have stars at all 3 levels. and Shaq Leonard has been hurt most of the year. So I'm sitting him this game. Claudio, we already know you're going to sit him. You say sit him every game, but what are your thoughts, Claudio, on Kenny Pickett?
Sit him.
That's a big surprise. Hey, Smokin Jim?
Well, Kenny Pickett's the third best quarterback on the team and the fourth best quarterback in this game. So I'm going to have to sit him.
All right. Eddie Kingslayer says Big Ben had a better everything when he started. That's a fact. Kenny Pickett is in a rebuild. That's correct. Big Ben came into a team with a great offensive line, great running backs, and the best defense in the league. Much different than what Kenny Pickett's coming in. Great point. I completely agree. All right. Let's keep staying our offensive standpoint. How about, well, we know Jalen Warren's not out. How about Pat Freiermuth? You start him or sit him? Smokin Jim, what do you think?
Well, first of all, Kenny Pickett has a better team than Big Ben had coming in.
No, he
Jerome Bettis was Jerome Bettis was washed up at that time. He was no longer a Hall of Fame running back. Hey, Mazerway was starting in front of him for the most part. They had no tight end. The offensive line was very overrated, and So that was the same team the year before that went 6-10. The Pittsburgh Steelers team went 6-10 the year before that. And Big Ben comes in there and wins. Big Ben comes in there and wins 15 games in a row. That's what happens when you have a good quarterback that you don't have to make an excuse for. That if Kenny Pickett was anything near Ben, this would be a Super Bowl team. This is a Super Bowl team right here, but we just don't have a quarterback to run it.
This is not.
What was the original question? What was the original question?
No, hold on, Jim.
This is not a Super Bowl
team. This is not a Super Bowl team, Smokin Jim. Anybody will tell you that. So you're going to say this offensive line was as good as the line that Ben had? No. Jerome Bettis was
Ben had a slightly better team. Jerome Bettis was nowhere near as good as Najee Harris. He was washed up. That's why they brought in. That's why they brought in Amos. That's why they brought in Amos Zeraway. This was the year before they. This was the year before they brought in Heath Miller, so they had no tight end. You know what I mean? Matt Spaeth or whatever was the tight end. Come on, man. This team is much better. If Ben played with this team right here, they would be nearly undefeated with an old Ben, let alone a rookie Ben. But what was the original question?
The original question we were talking about, sit or start. Hey, Jim, based on that statement, man, we're going to have to drug test before we do these shows in the morning, man. I mean, that's a ridiculous statement. This team was as good as Ben's team back then. There's no question. That team was completely better.
Yeah.
Look at the amount of Pro Bowlers. Look at the guys who
Why'd they go 6-10?
There's no, because they had Tommy freaking Maddox. They had Tommy freaking Maddox.
Now we got Kenny Pickoff. We got Kenny Pickoff.
And Kenny Pickoff. He's already 10 times quarterback as Maddox. Already. Maddox was a turnover machine his whole career.
Kenny. Other than having a good-looking girlfriend, what he got? What he got, Lou?
He got two games with no interceptions. Hey, Bruce Gas Boxing. Salute PGH, big dog. Hey, we appreciate you jumping in here. All right, Terry French. I have to agree with Jim. Don't go down that right. If Pickett was an A quarterback, we'd be on a better trajectory. Come on, man. Don't feed into this. Listen, give him his rookie year. He will be fine. The running game is not great. The offensive line has two guys who shouldn't even be started. The whole left side of the offensive line won't be starting next year, for one. He lost a top receiver in a trade. Stop. And he has a horrible offense. We're not going to talk about the coordinators. Ben even had a better offensive coordinator than Matt Canada. So there's no comparison. Ben had a much better team. All right. Maddox's problems, he only played 2 years in college. No, Ralph. Maddox's problems was way worse than that. He had a very terrible arm. Didn't have the athleticism of Kenny Pickett. No, he caught fire in the XFL, and we brought him in. He wasn't it. That's the reason we struggled so bad. Ben came into a great environment with a great system in place. All right, for ear move. That's where we are, Smokin Jim. Sit or start?
Starting.
Start him. All right, Claudio.
Start him because they're going to be behind. They're going to have to throw. But Jim makes a lot of great points, okay, and everything he said. But Luther, I'm going to tell you right now, it's the excuses for Pickett. He's a rookie. Next year, it's going to be he has a new offensive coordinator. The fourth year, it's going to be because he didn't have any receivers. The 10th year, he's upset because Tom Brady married somebody else. It's always going to be something.
Well, you could continue hating on the young quarterback and just watch him get better and better every week. I'm seeing improvement every week. That's what I'm saying. I'm seeing no turnovers in 2 games straight. I'm seeing
make up for it.
Throwing more touchdowns. He finally threw his first touchdown passes over 2 yards last week. I'm seeing improvement from him. And I say start him. I think he can have some success against some great young linebackers with the Colts, but I think I would start him. How about Najee Harris? Claudio, you're big time. You're high on him. Do you start him or sit him? Najee.
I'm going to go sit him.
All right. How about you, Smokin Jim? Sit or start him?
I'm high on Najee. This is his second year. This is the second year in his whole life he didn't have to eat Thanksgiving dinner out of a trash can. He's doing very well for himself. He's starting to get healthy. Back-to-back 90-yard performances. I'm starting him and I'm running him till the wheels fall off.
Okay. I think he's going to get a number of carries. I think he's going to get some catches in the pass game. I say start him. I definitely say start him. And my man Pickens, I think you got to start him. Last week he keeps showing improvement. I picked him up with some of my fantasy teams, and he's been helping me these last couple weeks. He's getting 8 targets a game. They're getting him in some jet sweeps. Canada's favorite play with the jet sweeps. But I say start him. Kenny Pickett's going to throw it to him 7-8 times a game, no matter what. And his athleticism and off the chain, once he gets his route running and improves on his route tree, he's going to be completely unstoppable. Pickett to Pickens is going to be one of the top receiving, passing duos in the game. Claudio, your thoughts? Sit.
Definitely. I definitely play Pickens. But let me explain one more time why I say to sit Najee Harris. Again, Indy's good against the run. I think that if they get off to a quick start, they're going to abandon the run. And then I think that the Colts are going to try to eat some clock. So those 3 things will limit Najee Harris. But I definitely would start Pickens because I think he is your top receiver. He does make some splash plays, as they like to say. May not be a good route runner, but he doesn't have to be. He can get away with it. But I definitely think he's going to have a half-decent game, enough to play him on fantasy sports.
All right. Let's see. Frank Jackson said Maddox was a bum. All right. Terry French, I'm high on Pickens. He's the man. All right. Frank Jackson again. Big Ben came into a much better situation. He had a better D, better O-line, and great running game. Stop the cap. Stop the cap, Jim. Hey, do you sit or start Pickens, Jim?
Well, he's been helping you in your fantasy football league, but can you help him run a route? I mean, the guy, the guy refuses to do anything, man. But, hey, great hands. I see it when they drafted him. He's going to be the best young wide receiver in the league. He can do it all when he put his mind to it, except for he's unwilling to run routes, but I would definitely start him,
All right, sticking to that receiving. Deontay Johnson, he was saying he's not getting enough looks. Smokin Jim, sit or start him?
I would cut him. I would cut him from the team. Wash my hands with this guy, man. Sit.
Man, Claudio, your thoughts?
I would have traded him instead of Claypool. Definitely sit him.
Yeah, I think I'd sit him. He's been complaining about not getting the ball. You know, I don't know how much confidence Kenny Pickett has in him. Half of those interceptions came through the hands of Deontay Johnson and went to the other team, but they hit his hands first. I'm sitting him this game. All right. Let's see. Ralph, go Maulers. All right. Daddy's T-shirt. Pettis was a Pro Bowler in 2004 and not Amos Airway. Najee is no Pro Bowler. Plus Faneca, etc. 9 Pro Bowlers. Oh, Jim, he's hitting you with some facts. Get him, King Slayer. He's killing you, Jim. He's all right. Pettis was a Pro Bowler in 04. 9 Pro Bowlers on that team. As I said, and Kingslayer backed me up on that, Jim. So you're wrong. Jim on fire today. I would trade Johnson too. Come on, Terry. Don't go on that. I'm with Daddy Kingslayer. Jim, 9 Pro Bowlers on that team. How many Pro Bowlers are on this team, Jim? How many Pro Bowlers are on this team, Jim?
Well, you got to win games to make the Pro Bowl. You got to win games to make the Pro Bowl. How many Pro Bowlers was on the 2000? How many Pro Bowlers was on the 2016?
Were they the highest?
2003 team. When the 2003 team that went.
Back to the feelings, Jim. There was 9 Pro Bowlers. T.J. Watt, he may be the only one that makes it for us this year, and that's a fact.
How many was on the 2000? How many was on the 2003 team that was 6-10? How many Pro Bowlers was there? Ben winning. How Claudio said that the waves or whatever raises everybody's expectations on the boat. How's that go, Claudio?
High tide rises the boats.
There we go. Well said.
All right. Let's see. Frank Jackson. Everyone knows that 04 team was better. Stop smoking, Jim. All right. Let's go. Let's jump over as we get ready to wrap up. Let's go to the Colts side of the field and see. All right. Actually, let's start off with the receiver. Would you start the receiver? Wow, that's Najee better stop. He don't want to end up like that. I look like that hurt there. Would you start the receiver? Smokin Jim. Jim?
What receiver? Yeah, can you hear me, Lou?
Yeah, I hear you.
Hello? What receiver?
Jim, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Claudio, you start.
No, because I think they're going to go heavier in the running game. No.
No? Okay, what about Taylor? Jonathan Taylor.
They start Taylor.
Jim, you start or sit Taylor?
I would start Taylor.
You would start Taylor. I'm definitely starting him. I think there's no question that you start him. How about you, Claudio? I think we're on agreement here.
As they're going to feature him, keeping it simple.
Okay, all right. And the defense. Would you start the Colts defense against the Steelers today? Smokin Jim.
Yes.
Yes. All right, Claudio?
Yes, because I believe they're going to create some turnovers as well.
Okay. Yeah, I think they're going to have a good game. I don't think the Steelers will score too much against them. Hopefully, the Steelers D can cause some turnovers to get a short field. But I would say start the Colts. I don't see them giving up more than 20 this game. All right, let's go to our predictions as we wrap up. Smokin Jim, final score. Any predictions?
Well, I think in almost every area, this is the game tailor-made for the Steelers. I think their offense is coming along. I think their offensive coordinator is coming along. I think Najee Harris is coming along. Freiermuth is coming along. I think the defense is coming along. This is a game for the Pittsburgh Steelers. So it all comes down to coaching. I think the better coach is Jeff Saturday, so I'm going with the Colts.
Disrespectful. Jeff Saturday got one game under his belt. One game. And even though they did look good against Philly, they had a chance to win that. They're playing a lot better, since they made that. But all right. How about you, Claudio?
I like Indy 20-15. I think their loss against Philadelphia last week, for example, in boxing, if a fighter fights a good fighter and loses but does well, his next fight he elevates. Okay, so I think the Colts did well against the Philly. They lost, but I think they'll turn it up against the Steelers, and I think they'll look relatively good, relatively solid, and I like them 20-15.
All right, we got Terry French in there, 30-27 Steelers. Wow, another shootout. All right. Enjoy the rest of your day, guys. TNT, 24 hours of Christmas vacation. All right, Ralph. Steelers, 16-13. All right, Eric. Ralph has it 20-13 Steelers. Frank Jackson, 20-14 Steelers. All right, I see a low-scoring game as well. I have the Steelers winning 17-14. I just don't think Matt Ryan is a quality NFL quarterback anymore, and the Steelers got to sell out to stop the run. Not afraid of the receivers, definitely not afraid of Matt Ryan. TJ Watt's going to have him shaking in his boots back there. Look for him to get a couple sacks, and I think Highsmith will make it rough for Matt Ryan as well. Corners have to hold
Luther.
Yeah,
Hey,
Jim.
Luther.
Hey,
Hey, Luther.
Hey, Jim.
I forgot to get my score. Colts 42, Steelers 35.
Another shootout, 35. Wow, that offense is clicking if they put up 35. All right, King Slayer said, I'm going 35-34. Kenny Pickett, 400 yards. Over 100 yards for Nazi Steelers. Win. Okay. All right, I like that. Enjoy your Sunday. Awesome 24 hours of Christmas vacation classic. Yeah, buddy. It's that time of year. All right, Smokin Jim, what did you say the score was?
42 Colts, 35 Steelers.
Man, okay. I guess you played an over on that. Okay, guys, for Claudio, Smokin Jim, appreciate all the comments. Ralph, Terry, Frank, Daddy Kingslayer, Bruce Gass, everybody. Thank you for coming in, and we'll check you out next time. Peace. We got one more comment. All right. Eduardo, Steelers going to win 28-24. Eduardo Okendo. All right, appreciate that. Terry, thanks for the show today, guys.
All right, Terry.
Jump it in, Terry. Appreciate you. And thanks for us getting us on that time schedule. Appreciate it. We'll check you guys out next week. I got a Steelers victory in a low-scoring game, and we'll see what happens from then. You guys take care. Peace.